Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Langford, the math coach at Stevenson Primary. I can't wait to share today's graphing activity with you, but before we get started, let's look at our content and language objectives. Today's content objective states, I can create and draw conclusions from picture graphs. Today's language objective states, I can use the following sentence stems when drawing conclusions from picture graphs. Now, if you look at those sentence stems, there are a lot of blanks there. It's our job to fill those in correctly. But in order for us to do that, we have to have a graph to help us. Let's look and see what we've created so far. Now, on this example, our focus is going to be on what snack do you like best? When we created this graph, we asked 9 boys and girls which snack they liked best. Did they like cookies? Did they like fruits? Or did they like goldfish? I know that there were 9 students that were asked because there's 9 pictures in all. Let's count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there were 9 students in all that we asked about their favorite snack. How many of those boys and girls said that cookies were their favorite snack? Can you count and tell me? If you said 3, you're correct. Now, let's look at fruits. How many boys and girls said that fruits were their favorite snack? 2 is right. And how many boys and girls said that goldfish were their favorite snack? 4. Very good work, guys. So now, just like our language objective stated on the first slide, we're going to use the graph to complete the sentence stems below. We have a word bank down here at the bottom to help us. Our first sentence stem says, there are more blank than blank. Now, what I want to tell you is that there may be more than one right answer, and that's okay. So let's talk for a minute about more. If we're looking at 2 different objects or 3 different objects, we're going to have quantities that are greater than or larger, which means they have more. We might have some that are smaller or fewer, which means they are less. And then we may even have some that are the same. Now, on this graph, do we have any that are the same? No, we don't have any that are equal. So we don't have to worry about that for this graph. But there's a lot of different pieces of information that we can get from this graph. So let's decide. There are more blank than blank. Well, when I'm looking, the first thing that I see is that there are more cookies than fruits because 3 is more than 2. So I'm going to go down to my word bank and I'm going to find the word cookies. And if you need help finding the words, you may ask an adult to help you read the words, or look, it's right here. You can look right there and match the words in the graph to the words in our word bank. And I bet you could figure it out on your own. But if you need help, ask an adult to help you read the words. Now, I want you to come up with the answers on your own, but they can certainly help you read the sentence stems and the words. So I'm looking for now, there are more cookies than fruit. And fruit starts with the F, fruit. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to drag and drop that into my sentence stem. There are more cookies than fruits. Now, let's look at my second sentence stem. There are less blank than blank. Now remember, when we're talking about less, that means a smaller amount of something or not as many as. So, I really like fruits. So I'm going to compare my fruits. So there are less fruits than, oh, some of you said cookies. And you know what? If you said cookies, you are right, because 2 is less than 3. But some of you also said goldfish. And you know what? You are also right, because 2 is less than 4. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and pick cookies. So now my sentence stem says, there are less fruits than cookies. Could I have used goldfish? Absolutely. Would it have been right? It sure would have. So make sure when you're looking at your graph that you're looking at all of the options that you have before you make your decision or draw your conclusions. Let's look at our next sentence stem. Blank are the most. Remember, the most is the largest amount of something, the biggest that we have. So of the ones that we have, is 3 the largest, or 2 the largest, or 4 the largest? If you said 4, you're right. So I'm going to take my goldfish and drag it into my sentence stem so that it now reads, goldfish are the most. Next sentence stem says, blank are the least. Remember, least is the smallest or the fewest amount of something. So if I'm looking for the least, is goldfish the smallest or the fewest? No, so it can't be the least. Is fruits the smallest or the fewest? It is, because 2 is smaller than 3 and 4. So we know it's the least. So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to find my word fruits, and I'm going to drag it into my sentence stem so that my sentence now reads, fruits are the least. Now, this last sentence stem is a little bit tricky because we have to join, which means we're going to add or put our things together. So if we join 2 of our items, our snacks, we're going to find out how many there would be. Our sentence stem says, if I join the blank with the blank, there would be blank. So this time, I'm going to use my goldfish, not for any particular reason, just because we haven't used it but one time before. So this time, I'm going to say, if I join the goldfish with the cookies, there would be how many? Now, to find that answer, if we're joining the goldfish with the cookies, that means we have to count how many of those 2 things there are in all. So let's count our goldfish and our cookies all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I join the goldfish with the cookies, there would be 7. I'm going to come down, I'm going to get my box that has 7 and drag that into my sentence stem so that when I'm reading my sentence stem, I now have a true statement. If I join the goldfish with the cookies, there would be 7. Now, I want to share with you the exact same information in a graph, but this time, rather than being horizontal like the one that we see, which means it goes across the horizon, or it reads from left to right, just like we read our books, this graph is a vertical graph. It reads from the bottom all the way up to the top. Now, you can see I still have my cookies, my fruits, and my goldfish. I still have 3 cookies, I still have 2 fruits, and I still have 4 goldfish. But when I'm counting these from the bottom to the top. So let's count to be sure. Let's count our cookies first. 1, 2, 3. And our fruits next. 1, 2. And our goldfish last. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, We still started on the left and went across, but when we were counting, we started from the bottom and went up. It still gives us the same information, it just reads from the bottom to the top rather than from the left to the right. Again, this is called a vertical bar graph. So what you're going to do is, if you have a vertical bar graph, you're going to complete the sentence stems the exact same way. So my first sentence stem says that there are more blank than blank. Well, I know that there are more cookies than fruit. So I'm going to drag and drop those into my sentence stem. Then I need to compare for my second sentence stem, there are less blank than blank. So that means a smaller or fewer amount of something. There are less fruits. There are less fruits than what? If you said cookies, you are right, because 2 is less than 3. But you know what? If you said goldfish, you are also right, because 2 is also less than 4. Since we used cookies on the first one, I'm going to go ahead and use goldfish on this one. So now my sentence stem says, there are less fruits than goldfish. Which one is the most? You are right, goldfish. I'm going to take goldfish and drag it up and drop it into my sentence stem. It now says goldfish are the most. Which one on our vertical bar graph has the least? Fruits. Good job. So I'm going to come down into my word bank. I'm going to drag and drop fruits into my sentence stem. And now my sentence reads, fruits are the least. Remember, on my last sentence stem, I am joining 2 of my objects. So we can join cookies and fruits. We can join fruits and goldfish. We can join cookies and goldfish. I think I remember on our last graph, we did cookies and goldfish. So this time, I think I'm going to do fruits. I really like fruit. What's your favorite fruit? Yummy. I like watermelon and pineapples and strawberries and melons. And so I think I'm going to join my fruits with my cookies. So remember, when I'm joining my fruits and my cookies, I have to count all of them together. So let's count fruits and cookies together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to drag and drop 5 into my sentence stem so that my sentence now reads, if I join the fruits with the cookies, there would be 5. Good job, boys and girls. I want to show you now a couple of graphs that you're going to be doing by yourself. Our first one is a vertical bar graph of which activity do you enjoy most? Jumping rope, swimming, or riding a bike. We have a horizontal graph that you're going to complete using the same drag and drop that Miss Langford just showed you about favorite pets, dogs, fish, and cats. Then on your third slide, you're going to have the opportunity to create a graph of your own. All you have to do is drag and drop the pictures into the row that matches their color. When you're done with that, use the words and the numbers to complete your sentence stems. And lastly, we have a challenge for you. We've given you a blank grid. We want for you to gather some items from around your house and create your own graph. You can use Legos or beans, you can use noodles or buttons, anything you have. But the challenge is on. I'm believing in you and I can't wait to see what you do. Have a good day.